Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast for My Own Worst Enemy, Degrassi, Season 13. We have a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get into the opening scene with Claire. I thought it was kind of creepy. Not, what Claire was going through, but just the way it was kind of shot with that claustrophobic feeling. Claire is in the machine getting ready for, a procedure. And she's obviously very emotional and nervous about the whole situation, which of course is expected of her. The opening scene I thought was great. Once again, I have to say that I'm really enjoying the Claire plot so far this season. I wasn't exactly sure how I would feel about it, when I first saw the episodes, but it definitely has surprised me. It's definitely a great storyline. One of my favorites on the show for the past several seasons as well. Um, so tonight we're just going to go through the episode in order, kind of go bouncing, back and forth from the different plots, the way the episode actually does. So next up, we had Allie talking with Leo. You know, like I said this last week as well, the whole thing with Leo and Allie mainly is just not interesting at all to me. I don't really find anything about it appealing, interesting. It just seems like the same kind of thing we've seen on Degrassi before many times. Someone trying to catch the attention of someone else and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, Degrassi does repeat storylines. We all know that. And of course, there's really no way to prevent that. Um, but a lot of the times when they do repeat a storyline, they are able to change it up and make it, different. And to me, or at least have a special or redeeming quality in the storyline that makes it stand out from, the previous time they did it. And to me, obviously this one is taking place, of course, in Paris, but it just doesn't have that that spark, that draw for me that makes me want to, find out what is going to happen. Tristan was, of course, the next plot of the episode, trying to have a relationship and finding out more about Miles. Now, Tristan is a character that I have mostly not enjoyed watching on the show. However, this season I am starting to like the character more. He's playing a bit of a cliche stereotype, I would say, but for some reason, there's something interesting about it, and finding out the truth about Miles and what exactly is his backstory. They're sort of setting it up with the whole dancing class and not completely freaking out when Tristan kissed him that he could potentially be gay. We don't exactly know what is happening with him. But, of course, the Tristan and Mai interactions and the Tristan and Miles interactions have been great. I'm very interested in Tristan's story to see what is going to happen, unlike with Allie. Seeing Claire bald is still pretty shocking. I don't know if everyone feels that way. To me, it's kind of like, wow, this is real. It's just great. There's really not a whole lot to say about Claire because it's just great. I could keep telling you that it's great, but, I don't know how much you want to hear that. But it's just a very, enjoyable storyline. Not, of course, what she's going through, but just the way it is being portrayed. Like I said, the Miles and Tristan stuff is interesting. I think they have good chemistry as actors together. They work well with each other, which is great to see in a storyline like this. We had a lot of more stuff with Allie. I'm not interested in this. It's just something that I don't understand why they're taking her character in this, in this direction. I think there are other things that, her and Jenna or, whoever could be off doing. Finding out that Paula died, Claire's friend who she met last week, was definitely emotional because, first Claire sees, oh, she made it out, she made it, she's on her way to being healthy, and Claire has that moment on her face where it's like, wow, maybe I'm going to be okay. And then the nurse reveals, the truth that Paula has passed away. And of course, now Claire is realizing, wow, this is even hitting, closer. This is somebody who I just talked to, and now they are no longer here. Drew and Claire, a great combination. I've always loved them together. it's just nice to see that Claire trusts Drew. And something funny about this, actually, I saw some people talking about it online as to why certain people were not visiting Claire, like Jake and his father, and of course people are bringing up Darcy, which obviously is never going to happen. But of course it does make sense that they would at least be in, visiting her. I mean, it's even confusing for me to talk about it because it's like, why are, some of these people, not present or, whatever. Or you could at least have, Claire on the phone and say, nice to hear from you, Darcy, and hang up as soon as we enter the scene, so of course we don't actually have to have, Shanae, in the scene or even on the phone, but, to make it more realistic, I guess, because now we have Claire just trusting or, being with Eli, of course, and her mom, but, they had to bring in someone else because, which is Drew, for whatever reason. But I do like the Drew and Claire combination, so, that is a positive thing. The escape with Claire and Drew was great, very funny, dramatic, silly. I enjoyed that a lot. Tristan came up with OMLG, Oh My Lady Gaga, which I thought was pretty funny as well. And then, of course, we had the moment when Claire tries to be normal, and she heads back to Degrassi, to the camp, to help out and just try and be a normal teenager. And it's absolutely devastating to see her, want to be normal, and then, she throws up, and it's just, quite emotional to see. The one thing I do have to say towards the end of the episode that I liked, of course, with Ellie, was the callback to, the guy she was with. Of course, she doesn't say who, we all know who. But, the fun night last year with a guy that ruined, her life. And, so I like that little callback when she was talking to Leo. But, the whole thing with her, I just hope they find a way to wrap it up or make it interesting soon because, as seen in next week's episode, there once again is more with Allie and Leo. So hopefully they find a way to make it a little more interesting because right now it's just not doing it for me. And we had the final scene of Eli freaking out about Claire, leaving, but that, is stopped when Claire's mom reveals that the results from the beginning of the episode came back clear. However, her mom warns that this does not mean that she is, completely in the clear yet. Anything could still happen, and of course it is Degrassi, so we will see what exactly will happen. But Claire, says she's going to fight this, she's going to win, she's going to be strong, and it was just a great moment to see, Claire get a little bit of a victory and, to see her still having the strength to, want to fight this, to want to live. So there you go. And the promo for next week, we had a lot more with Tristan and Miles. Of course, Miles is off kissing Zoe. We have stuff with Adam once again, which will be, very nice. We haven't seen him last season towards the end for many episodes, and then he's been in it a little bit in season 13, but we're gonna get a plot with him next week, so that's very exciting. And of course, like I said, stuff with Ellie. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all next week.